Today on Sports Central, we'll be going over an NFL playoff game preview over the AFC Championship game between the Tennessee Titans and the Kansas City Chiefs. And this should be quite a game here. Of course, the Titans are red hot right now. They have won two big playoffs games so far. They've beaten the Patriots, and now they've beaten the Baltimore Ravens in a huge upset. And then the Chiefs, on the other hand, they're also really hot right now with Patrick Mahomes continuing to get healthy. And so, yeah, this should be a really interesting matchup. Pregame for both these teams. Once again, Tennessee beating the number one seed Baltimore 28-12. And then Kansas City beat Houston in a wild game, 51-31. And if you remember that one, I mean, man, Houston was up 24-0 at one point at the beginning of the second quarter. At that point of the game, I was like, man, I think this thing's over. But the Chiefs came back. They stormed back in that second quarter, ended up leading at halftime. And before you knew it, it was a blowout the other way for the Chiefs. One of the weirdest games I've ever seen, or that I can recall for that matter. But yeah, some key stats from these games for Tennessee: Derrick Henry, 30 attempts, 185 yards. And for Kansas City, Patrick Mahomes, of course, 24 for 35, 321 yards, and 5 touchdowns. So overall, I mean, both those guys had really good days, especially Derrick Henry. I mean, man, he's been doing really good lately, and that's going to be a big challenge for the Chiefs, is trying to stop Derrick Henry. And, of course, I mean, the Chiefs have a really good rush defense, and we'll get to that in a sec. So it could be probably one of Derrick Henry's biggest challenges yet this season. This game will be on Sunday, January 19th, 3:05 p.m. Eastern, so it's the first game of the day. Kansas City is where it's located. Spread currently says Chiefs by 7.5. ESPN FPI says Chiefs 75%, and then Vegas is saying 31-18 Kansas City as well. So all three of these predictions are saying Chiefs by a generous amount. Honestly, the Vegas one is pretty much the closest one out of those three. But I mean, that's the thing that the Titans have had to deal with, especially in the playoffs, is that exact same spread against all their teams that they played so far, against the Ravens and the Patriots. So honestly, who knows what can happen here? And the Titans have beaten them all on the road as well. Here's our stat comparison for this one. For the Titans, 25.1 points per game, 12.5 points allowed, 247 total pass yards a game, 138 total rush yards. So overall, they're decently balanced between passing and rushing. Of course, Ryan Tannehill was used a lot more in the regular season. Derrick Henry's been on fire though lately, so they've been using him quite a bit in the past few games. As far as yards allowed go, 287 pass yards. So they don't have the best passing defense, but they got 141 rush yards allowed too. So overall, they're pretty balanced there. As for the Chiefs, though, 28.2 points per game, along with 31.0 points allowed per game. 293 pass yards a game. So, of course, Patrick Mahomes is heavily used by this team, and rightfully so. 98 rush yards a game, 388 pass yards allowed per game. So, their pass defense isn't near as good as the rush defense, which only allows 94 points a game. So, or 94 yards allowed, or 94 yards a game. My bad. But nonetheless, yeah, that's why it's going to be a big challenge for Derrick Henry, is because he's going to have to go up against one of the best rush defenses in the entire NFL, no doubt. I mean, when you can allow less than 100 yards of offense in any one of those two categories, especially rushing, I mean, man, it's brutal to go up against, that's for sure. Previous 5 games for both these teams. For the Titans, once again, they've won 2 playoff games on the road. They beat the Ravens and the Patriots. They also beat the Texans in the last week of the regular season, 35-14. They lost to the Saints though a week before that, 20-38, and they lost to the Texans a week before that by 3, 21-24. So nonetheless, the Titans, it's kind of interesting too. I was looking at this. The Titans have played 5 really difficult opponents as their previous 5 games, and 3 of those include AFC playoff teams. They've beaten the Texans, they've beaten the Patriots and the Ravens. And by the way, let me remind you, the Ravens are the 1 seed, Patriots are the 3, and Texans are the 4. And guess what? The Kansas City Chiefs are the 2. So if the Titans win this game, in their previous 4 games, they will have defeated all of the top 4 seeds in the AFC. Something interesting to note there. For Kansas City, on the other hand, they're also on a roll. They beat the Texans last week by 20. They beat the Chargers by 10 in the last week of the regular season. They beat the Bears on the road in Chicago 26-3. They beat the Broncos at home 23-3. And they beat the Patriots by a touchdown on December 8th, 23-16. So overall, I mean, both teams are coming in pretty hot here. Of course, though, the Titans did lose a couple of games towards the end of the regular season, but of course, as far as playoffs go, I mean, this team is on fire. As far as key points go, Titans can't rely on Derrick Henry 100% in this game. I mean, that's what they've been doing in the last couple of games, and he's just He's had a massive workload for sure. I mean, to get over 150 yards even in one NFL game is crazy. I mean, that's not usually that doesn't happen very often in the NFL. You'll see it in college football quite a bit, but not in the NFL. The Chiefs have a great rush defense, and that's why Ryan Tannehill is going to need to make some big plays in this game if the Titans are going to win. Pat Mahomes continues to play great, no doubt about that. Chiefs coming off of a shootout. I mean, that's something to note there as well. And of course, the Chiefs, this is their second straight game at home. For the Titans, though, I mean, you got to consider, man, this team has played a very, very tough stretch. And if they can win this game, I mean, the sky's the limit for them at that point. I mean, that's 3 really tough road games in a row that the Titans have been able to win. This would be a huge game if they can win this one. Titans are the hottest team left, in my opinion, in the NFL. I mean, of course, there are 4 teams left. But kind of looking at everyone, I mean, the Chiefs are on fire. The Packers are looking pretty good, even though they've had a lot of close games. And, of course, the Niners, I mean, they're good, but they aren't quite on fire as much as they were in the middle of the regular season. I mean, the Titans at this point, man, they're really winning gagngames, and they're beating some very high-caliber teams in the NFL. How would each team win in this situation? I'd have to say if the Chiefs can get up and they can, I know this is a little bit of deja vu from the Texans and the Chiefs game, but if they can get up by a couple of touchdowns, possibly 3, I think that shuts down the Titans, and I think the Chiefs get the win or if that situation happens, of course. But for the Titans, I mean, you got to keep with the Chiefs. You can't let them get away from you. Ryan Tannehill is going to need to make a few plays. He's been kind of on the low down the last couple of games, just especially for Derrick Henry. I mean, Derrick Henry's been on fire, and honestly, rightfully so, to let him get a lot of attention. But man, Ryan Tannehill is going to need to make some big plays in this game if they're going to win this one. They can't rely on Derrick Henry against this crazy great Chiefs rushing defense. So with all that being said, I think that we see the Chiefs get the win here. I think the Titans, don't get me wrong, they are a fantastic team, especially right now. But I don't think that they can win 3 really tough road games in a row. I was kind of surprised they were even able to get it done last week against Baltimore. I mean, man, they played really well in that game in order to do that. And it wasn't even close. I mean, 28-12, that's a pretty decent win there. So, of course, for the Titans, I mean, coming into this game, you're on fire. But the thing is, though, the Chiefs, I feel like the Chiefs are not the right team that the Titans want to play at this situation. Your halftime score is going to be 17-14 Chiefs lead. I think Titans keep it close in the start. But in your final score, it's going to be 34-21. Chiefs end up winning it by a decent amount. They ended up winning it by a decent 13 points. But nonetheless, it would not surprise me if the Titans pulled an upset here. I mean, if anything crazy were to happen this weekend, it'd be the Titans winning. But nonetheless, let me know your thoughts on this game in the comments below. Let me know whether you disagree with this or not. Of course, I mean, I'm sure there are many people that will. But nonetheless, yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments below on this one. Be sure to stay tuned for more from All Sports Central, and I will see you all later.